We're talking about the drone strikes in Pakistan, and apparently they've been going on since 2004, or maybe earlier. We're not sure. Can you tell us, from your point of view in Pakistan, how long have these drone strikes been going on?
Peter, thanks for reaching out to me. Let me give you some background on the drone attacks. Drone attacks in Pakistan were never known before 2001. It all started with the starting of war against terrorism. There is a narrow region that is placed between Pakistan and Afghanistan at Pakistan side, and here at these regions, the Taliban and militants were supposed to be hiding to attack on U.S. allied forces, and also sometime in Pakistan and Afghanistan as well. So the drone strikes were aimed to target the hideouts of militants bordering in the areas bordering in Pakistani lawless region bordering Pakistan and Afghanistan border. So its primary aim was to strike down the hideouts of militants. It all started in 2004 as former Pakistani President Pervez Musharraf signed a secret agreement with the Pentagon, and allowed a U.S. unmanned means drone strike inside Pakistan. So far, officially, 2,500 innocent people have been killed during these drone attacks. But here I must mention these figures vary from time to time. Officially, they are 2,500 to 4,000, but the private news channels, private newspaper here in Pakistan have sometimes reported the casualties as a result of drone attacks may have been up to 4,000 to 10,000. So, as I told you before, the primary aim of the drone attacks was to attack the hideouts of militants hiding in Pakistani lawless region bordering Pakistan-Afghanistan border. But unfortunately, contrary to what the Pakistani and the US officials claimed, they could kill a small number of hardcore militants. But sadly, the majority of the people who got killed under the drone strikes were the innocent civilians, and that ultimately fueled anti-Americanism, anti-West sentiments here in Pakistan. And there have been a huge number of rallies across Pakistan since 2004 up till now against the drone strikes here in Pakistan. So it is still going on, and sadly, the innocent people are still being killed under drone strikes.
And this is, as you said, it's fueled a lot of anti-American sentiment. Are all these drone strikes going ahead with the full permission of the Pakistani government?
Unfortunately, it was the Pakistani government in 2004 that secretly, without taking 180 million Pakistani into confidence, they striked a deal with the Pentagon, with the U.S. officials, with the Obama administration, and actually they allowed. It was the Pakistani government under the dictator Pervez Musharraf, who is now under custody, who is now languishing in Pakistani jail.
That's right.
He basically strike a deal with the U.S. officials, and after they strike a deal without taking the Pakistani into confidence, U.S. means Obama administration had a valid point that they had signed an agreement. So they were allowed to strike down the hideouts of military in Pakistan, and so they keep on, and still the drone strikes are going on inside Pakistan, killing hundreds of innocent Pakistanis in the lawless region bordering Pakistan, Afghanistan border. As far as your question is concerned, when a Pakistani government allowed the drone strikes, so it was not supposed to ask the Americans or the West to stop these drone strikes. But interestingly, the fallen government, means after the new government took over in 2008, in April 2008, they were under pressure from the masses, from the Pakistanis, after a huge number of innocent people were killed under the drone strikes. They were pressurized and they passed a resolution against drone strikes. The drone strikes must be stopped because they were causing collateral damage. They were killing hundreds of innocent people, including the children, elderly people, women, and many more. So, a couple of times, Pakistan's parliament passed a resolution against drone strike, but still, despite knowing the fact that the past Pakistani government in 2004 signed an agreement to allowing the U.S. officials, Obama administration, to carry out drone strikes in Pakistan, they just refrained themselves from issuing a statement that the drone strike must be stopped. But on the ground, the reality is that they never asked West, they never asked Pakistan, Obama administration to stop these drone strikes. And let me give you some background.
Yeah.
In Pakistan, there has been above 100 demonstration across Pakistan compelling the government, the Pakistani government that has just completed its terms in April 2013. They compelled the Pakistani government to play its role to stop the drone strikes and stop and save the Pakistanis, innocent children, innocent women to get slaughtered by the drone strikes. So there has been about 100 of demonstrations, and some of them was bloody demonstration across Pakistan.
But are these demonstrations being heeded by the government?
Yeah.
So the government is taking action because of these demonstrations.
Yeah, they never asked, but the point is that the Pakistani government never asked U.S. officials to stop these drone attacks.
Okay.
And another bleak picture is that the U.S. official based in Pakistan, I mean the diplomats and officials working here in embassies, their diplomatic missions, they knew it as well. Here in Pakistan, the drone attacks are the major factor to fuel anti-American and anti-West sentiments in Pakistan.
Right. Okay.
And now,
yeah. So on the ground, the Pakistani people are obviously enraged by these drone attacks, yet the Pakistani government aren't really doing anything about it.
Yeah.
Okay. And it has been said as well that the relationship between Pakistan and the United States has been strained between the killing of bin Laden and the drone attacks. Is there any evidence that relationship is breaking up between the American and Pakistani governments?
Actually, let me clarify at this point. If Pakistan and the United States government have had some bumpy relationship in the past, they were not just because of the drone strikes, the drone attacks.
Right.
Because I told you earlier, Pakistan's allowed drone strikes inside the region, inside its country. But it was the Pakistani government that allowed. But since then, it was in 2004. But since 2004, 9 years has been passed. None of the Pakistani government asked U.S. officials or the Obama administration to stop this strike. So, if the Pakistani and the U.S. government had some bumpy relationship in the past, it was not because of drone strike inside Pakistan. There might be some other factors that pushed the two sides, means Pakistan and United States, to have cracked the relationship. But it was not the drone strikes, because Pakistani government never asked the United States to stop drone attacks.
Okay. Now, as you said, the death toll, nobody really knows how many people have been killed by it. The death toll is anything from 2,500 to 4,000, or who knows how many. Is there any evidence, if indeed the drone strikes were about taking out militants, is there any evidence that they're having an effect in taking out militants?
Actually, you were talking about evidence. They don't are striking in a region where the common Pakistani peoples, they don't have access. Even the Pakistan army has not access to those areas. So only source of information is the Pakistani intelligence officials that have been feeding the Pakistani newspapers that the innocent people are being killed there, and also some of it was reality as well, because some of the people living in those areas, they got the pictures, they got the snaps of the collateral damage, the killing of innocent Pakistani children, women. They took the pictures, and then they managed to reach to the Pakistani capital. The photographs, the videos, and video clips, they were spread to they were distributed to Pakistani media, and this is because it was just because we could have some knowledge about the drone strikes. And one thing I forgot to mention here, that is, I think you are familiar with Imran Khan. Imran Khan, Pakistani cricket politician, who is leading a party, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, means movement, Pakistan Movement for Justice. His popularity among the Pakistani people is just because of his anti-American, anti-drone stance.
Right.
He is the man that rallied across the Pakistan. He have rallied several times, across Pakistan. Even he took thousands of people to the area where drones are still attacking the people. So he has emerged as anti-American, anti-drone strikes politician as well. And as we the Pakistani are going to elect the new government in as election is scheduled on 11th of May this year, and Pakistani are supposed to vote to form the next government, and Imran Khan and his party is also contesting. The people having anti-American sentiments, they would be voting for Imran Khan and his party.
Right.
And you would see if Imran Khan could manage to get some people of his party elected, it would be just because of his anti-American stand. And you can guess how drone attacks are fueling anti-American and anti-West sentiments there in Pakistan.
Simon Shorno from the International Committee of the Red Cross. You're the spokesperson for the US and Canada region, which would also include Guantanamo Bay. Now, we're all familiar with Guantanamo Bay, or at least we think we're familiar with Guantanamo Bay and what happens there. And of late, apparently since the 6th of February, I'm not exactly sure of the exact date, a hunger strike started there. I've heard a number of reports. I even heard at one stage that 130 out of the 166 inmates were in hunger strike. Now, I don't believe it's quite that high. What exactly can you tell us about it?
Well, that we're following, of course, the hunger strike. I can't give you precise numbers because we don't really communicate those numbers. The U.S. government can do that, but we have a bilateral, confidential dialogue with the U.S. government, so I can't really give you those numbers or confirm or discuss really the conditions of the detainees. But what I can say is that, of course, the ICRC has visited Guantanamo since January 2002. We visit there regularly to monitor the conditions of detention and the treatment of the detainees. So we followed this hunger strike, but also the prior cases. There were several people on hunger strike for years now that we were following. And so we monitor that situation. We've carried out a visit to the facility that ended last week, 3-week-long visit, where we might go back if the situation requires it. So we're following very closely the developments. We speak with the authorities at Guantanamo, but also in Washington, about how they are reacting to the situation, how they are responding from a medical level. We had a doctor during the visit we carried out. The doctor informs the detainees as much as possible about the consequences of the hunger strike on their health. This is a value, of course, because the ICRC doctor is an independent, neutral voice that the detainees can trust, and so he seeks to see the detainees. Of course, we don't always see all detainees. Some detainees refuse to speak to us today, frankly, in Guantanamo because of the situation. We respect that choice. When a detainee does not want to see an ICRC delegate, we do not force ourselves upon that person, and we respect those choices, but as much as possible, we try to speak with the detainees themselves to understand their situation, their plight. In terms of the hunger strike and what it represents, perhaps, clearly for us, the hunger strike is a symptom, and it's a symptom of the growing despair of the detainee population in Guantanamo. And frankly, detainees there do not see any issue to their predicament. They are, beyond disappointed. They are despondent at this point, thinking that they've been abandoned by the U.S. government, that there's been no progress in terms of the closure of the facility, but also in terms of the installation, the installment really of those periodic review boards that the Obama administration had announced 2 years ago now. And those boards would review the case of each detainee, and when a detainee is deemed to not pose a security threat to the United States, that person would be transferred out of Guantanamo. Yeah. There's a number of persons who have been deemed to be the U.S. government has
okay. Yeah.
Basic. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay, Simon. And now, are you in a position to comment on why people have stayed there for so long and why we haven't had the releases that Obama promised?
I can't really speak to why, but I mean, clearly the administration has indicated that wanted to set up those review boards. There are several detainees, in fact 86 detainees at the facility right now, that have been deemed to be releasable by the administration. Those persons are still in Guantanamo. They're deemed not to pose a security threat to the United States. Those people are still there. So there is basically a political blockage in Washington. The Congress has enacted legislation that prevents the administration to a large extent to transfer detainees out or to transfer detainees onto U.S. soil. And really, the situation is quite blocked. And our president, the president of the ICRC, was in Washington 2 weeks ago now.
Yes.
With President Obama. And he repeated, the ICRC position, and that is that the administration and the U.S. Congress have to move urgently in order to deblock the situation, to allow the detainees that have been deemed transferable out of the facility and to reinstate those periodic review boards as soon as possible.
Yeah. Now, your president, Peter Maurer, also brought up the apparent fact that the hunger strikers are being force-fed in Guantanamo.
They are being force-fed. The ICRC position on force-feeding in situations of hunger strike is that we're opposed to force-feeding. We believe the wishes of the detainees should be respected in accordance with dominant medical ethics and the Malta Declaration of 2006. And so we share this position with the United States. Obviously, we differ, and those detainees are being force-fed today. But again, for us, the hunger strike is really a symptom, and the problem goes deeper, and it is a political problem that needs to be tackled by the U.S. Congress.
Now, would the ICRC have any involvement in Guantanamo were it not for the hunger strikes?
Yes, we do visit, as I mentioned, the facility, and we have visited the facility to monitor the treatment and to monitor the conditions of detention and the treatment of detainees since January 2002. So that's an ongoing process. We do that, and we'll do that as long as the facility stays open. The way we work is that we directly observe the situation through our own staff in the facility. We speak with the detainees, we speak with the authorities, and we then share our observations confidentially with the American authorities to, when needed, improve the situation.
Sure. And are the ICRC staff there permanently?
No, we visit usually every 6 weeks.
Okay.
But we will be visiting at shorter intervals now with this hunger strike.
And your visits there, are they, the authorities, do they cooperate with you fully? Can you go where you need to go to, or what sort of restrictions are placed upon you?
No, we are able to visit Guantanamo according to ICRC practice, which is, for us, the most important thing is to be able to visit the facility in its entirety and to speak with detainees in private in order to get a sense of their predicament, their situation, and we're able to do that perfectly well at Guantanamo.
As you said that the prisoners there, you said it's a symptom of what else is going on there. Have they said, obviously release from the facility, I imagine, is foremost on their minds, but for this particular hunger strike, are there any particular aims for it?
Well, the ICRC does not comment on the aim of the hunger strike. It's not for us to do so, but I think the lawyers, certainly the lawyers of the detainees can do that.
Okay, and in the meantime, what can the ICRC do for the hunger strikers who are, I can imagine, going through suffering, or is there anything that can be done either through pressure on authorities or bringing in of aid or anything at all?
Well, the ICRC does not intervene in the hunger strike per se. We do not act as intermediaries between the detainees and the authorities, but what we do, again, is to provide a medical expert who can explain the detainees the consequences of their action, and then can, on the other end, work with the authorities to explain the ICRC position on force feeding and engage on the medical aspects of the hunger strike, but we do not act as intermediaries between detainees and the authorities.
Okay, and Simon, just before we let you go, where do you see it going from here? I mean, do you know, or do you have any idea that there might be an end in sight to the hunger strikes? Or, I mean, I know you can't comment on this, but it has been reported that some people there committed suicide. Some of the hunger strikers committed suicide. I mean, is it a case that we're looking at in the next coming days? We're looking at some of these people dying, and we're looking at the implications of that.
Well, we really can't say, but what is clear is that there is a growing despair amongst detainees, and this current situation is of growing concern to the ICRC.
Okay. Simon Chernow from the ICRC, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.